Good morning, all. Today we shall be continuing our discussions on and about philosophy of life. Earlier, we had discussed about problems, why problems occur, to whom problems occur, what are the ways to avoid problems and to resolve problems. We had also seen about nature, realization of nature, about science and technology, and so many other things. Importantly, we had also discussed about the three needs, the protections, and the three virtues. Today, we shall be continuing and starting three stages in development of knowledge and also a little about the goal of religion, what religion is actually. Faith, understanding, realization. These are the three stages of development of knowledge. Now, what are these? First, if we see, various people have various levels of understanding, or we can say they are present at various stages of understanding. Faith actually is, if we see three stages of knowledge, faith is the initial stage. For example, if we see, just think of, it is not easy for us or possible to actually make a first grader understand about neurology or nuclear science, for example. Because there are various levels of understanding, there are various levels of brain development in which people can understand various things. People become capable of understanding. So what do? We break it down. We break the topic of neurology into simpler sections and teach the students from the beginning. Suppose in first class we talk about human physiology, like the parts in the body, what is the body made up of, and so many things of that. Next year we tell about the functioning of various body parts. Like stomach is for digestion, lungs for respiration. We start a little detail about each organ and the importance of each organ is taught. Later, maybe in eighth or ninth, they go in little detail about it, or in even in higher grades they actually start the foundation about neurology. They actually start with the basics. The basic knowledge is given to the students up to 12th, we can say. Once that is completed, that is when in under or post graduation studies they actually learn about neurology using this basic foundation that they had been thought about and given to in the earlier classes or earlier years. So there are various levels and stages. We cannot simply talk to a doctor about alphabets and numbers, tell to him that A for apple, B for ball. He's gonna just get angry. At the same time, we cannot just go to a kindergarten going student and talk about medicine, about antibodies, antibiotics, antioxidants. They will not be capable of actually understanding what it is. For this, there's also a hilarious story. So once a father and a 5-year-old child of his were traveling in a bus. The boy was very fascinated by the movement, the nature, and everything. Just after a little some after maybe 15 minutes or so, he sees the driver. He sees the working about how he starts the bus. He moves and stops again, lets people in and out, and he sees that. Seeing that, he asks his father a question. He asks his father, how does this bus move or how does this work? The father, being a mechanic, he started his lectures. He started telling that there's a motor, there's armature, there's lubrication, this is happening, this half rotation, all these. He starts talking about the internal technical version of how the bus actually works. Listening to this, as if it was very interesting, the boy listens to this, and once this is over, the boy says, "Dad, you don't know anything. The bus starts when the conductor whistles and stops when the conductor whistles again." This is very hilarious. But if we see, this is the various two levels of understanding. So it is important for us to understand what the other person, the person sitting next to us, in which level he or she is in, and try to make them understand in their own level. We cannot just say that since this is the basic, this is not important. It is important, equally important, because without the basics or foundation, the building is just going to collapse. So a strong foundation is required. Imagining this is actually all we just talked about, the neurology or nuclear science or medicine or mechanic works. Anything, if you see, these are just worldly enjoyment, things of worldly knowledge. These are the knowledge that we have accumulated for the sake of the world to enjoy this in a world. This materialistic knowledge has so many stages from kindergarten, nursery, kindergarten, then up to 12th standard, and then graduation studies, so many more. If these many are there just for this materialistic knowledge, just for this worldly knowledge, then just imagine how many stages does it have or does it take for us to actually realize and understand the Almighty, the greatest power in this entire universe. Maharishi says there are just three stages. We may think it is enormous, so many, it takes millions of years. But Maharishi here just says there are just three stages: faith, understanding, and realization. We shall see each one of them. First, faith. What is it? Faith is to believe in something without actually reasoning it or understanding it. It is far away from logical thinking. We do not think much of it about it. If something is said to us, we just believe that. We don't argue about that. We don't think about that. We just believe it's simple. For example, in the lower classes here, when teachers say something to us, we just learn. For example, the teachers teach us that leaves are green in color. We just believe that. We don't question about anything about that. We just believe. This is because of our faith in teacher. We have faith and believe in their knowledge, so we just believe what they say. Here, Maharishi gives us the explanation that those who are not capable of understanding the principles of life, either because of youth or because of underdeveloped intelligence, should lead their lives by faith. They should obediently follow the teachings of wise men and elders with sufficient experience who are who are their guides or guardians. That is, faith is something limited to a certain people. Not every person in this world, regardless of their age or understanding, has to follow faith. It is only for those people who are young, who are underdeveloped or intellectually not very developed. In terms of understanding life, we see this is where religion comes into play. Religion has made us believe so many things without us even thinking about that, without even reasoning or questioning. In terms of faith in God, if we see, it should be undoubted. Faith in God should never be questioned or doubted. This is what religion says. There's another story also here that goes along with this about faith in God. Once Narad was just comes to the world to see the earth, and he meets two people, a priest and a cobbler. The Narad goes first, meets the priest, and the priest is very happy to see Narad, and he greets him, he welcomes him, and he is so overjoyed. Seeing Narad, he says, the priest says, Narad, you always meet Lord Vishnu. You often meet Lord Vishnu. Can you just do me a favor? Narad says, yes, definitely. The priest requests Narad to actually ask Lord Vishnu how many more lifetimes does he have, or when will he get moksha, that is merged with Lord Vishnu. Narad says, okay, I will go ask him and I'll inform him shortly. He moves on. The Narad again goes to another cobbler. The cobbler too is very happy seeing such a huge person, such a intellectual coming to his house and welcomes him and greets him. He again asks Narad or requests Narad to ask the same question. How many more lifetimes does this cobbler have? Or when will he get moksha? Narad says, okay, I will ask. Narad then goes to Lord Vishnu. He greets him, and Narad says that I met two people and they both asked the same question. And he asks Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu in reply says, go tell to the priest that the priest will have as many lifetimes as the number of leaves present in his uh, backyard tree. Listening to this, Narad understands, okay, the priest is not going to get the moksha right now or anytime soon. He says, okay, what about the cobbler? Lord Vishnu says, inform the cobbler that this is his last lifetime. His birth cycle will end by this. Narad is now a little confused. Narad asks Lord Vishnu, if you see, priest is the person who devotes his time, energy, body, and soul to you. He always performs rituals, pujas, and everything that you like. And you are telling that he will have much more lifetimes, or he will not reach you very anytime soon. But a cobbler who is very poor, who just mends shoes and repairs shoes, will have his last lifetime and he'll come to meet you. That is not fair. How come a priest who's always in around you, who always thinks about you, not getting moksha, but a cobbler who's poor is getting? Lord Vishnu says, okay, let's take this as an experiment. Go and tell the cobbler, when you meet the cobbler and the priest, they will definitely ask this question. Go tell them that I was taking an elephant out of the eye of a needle. If they ask what I was doing. Narad understands, okay, there's something about this. We'll go understand and see this adventure, what is going on. Narad goes. Narad goes to the priest first. The priest again welcomes him, and the priest asks, what was Lord Vishnu doing when you went there? Narad says, okay. So Narad said that Lord Vishnu had informed me that you will have as many lifetimes as the number of leaves in your backyard. And leaves. That is, he is not going to get moksha anytime soon. He leaves. Narad then goes to the cobbler. The cobbler is again overwhelmed. He is very happy seeing Narad coming back. And he asks Narad, what was Lord Vishnu doing when you went to see him? Narad said that Lord Vishnu was taking an elephant from the eye of a needle. Narad was actually surprised to see that the cobbler did not have any reaction. He just nodded, okay, that's good. Narad asks the cobbler, aren't you surprised because how can such a huge creature be taken out from a very small eye of a needle? In reply to this, the cobbler said, my Lord Vishnu is such a powerful person. There's no one who's beyond his power. He is the most powerful person in this world. He can do anything, and he can give life to a smaller seed that becomes a big tree, or he can also take such a huge creature, elephant, from the eye of a needle. This is very possible. So, listening to this, Narad understands, okay, this is why Lord Vishnu has given him the end to his birth cycle. Then he says, Narad says that you have this is your last lifetime, and after the death, you'll reach moksha. You'll attain moksha. So this story conveys about the faith in Lord or faith in God. This is something that is said in most religions as well. Faith in Lord or God should be immense that it should never be questioned or doubted. So this is basically what faith is. That is not actually understanding or reasoning it without logical thinking. We just believe. We shall see more about religion a little in a few minutes. So after faith comes understanding. As we grow, we become more mature and we start understanding things around us. Maharishi here says, those who are intellectually developed should lead their lives by understanding and by following the principles of life learned from their own experiences, that is, by studying books and by learning from experienced persons. So, understanding is much higher than just faith. This is when we actually start questioning. For example, there I said leaves are green in color or something that we believed in our lower grades. Now, understanding is the stage of life in which we actually start questioning why is the uh, leaf green in color? Why is it so? What is the reason behind? We start questioning it. And we also sometimes find the answer. In terms of this, you find the answer that in microscopic level, the leaf is made up of millions of cells, and each cell has chloroplast, which has chlorophyll pigments in it. With that gives its green color. This is understanding. Understanding is something much more higher than faith, and it is actually understanding what life, what anything that you learn is. Next is realization. Maharishi says, those who are fully developed in knowledge by the realization of self and actualization of truth may lead their lives by the light of their own insight. That is, they have their own theories, they have their own understandings, and they live their life with that. Realization is when we actually understand everything and arrive to a conclusion. We drive a conclusion, we understand everything, and we actually realize it. In terms of the leaves being green in color, that is when we actually understand chloroplast has chlorophyll, and this chlorophyll is something that gives it the green pigment. And this is all done because of the action of nature by the working of the Almighty, and everything has evolved from the Almighty. Coming to such a conclusion about the Almighty is actually what we say realization. As a whole, we can also say all these three in just an example. First, initial step is faith. Example for this is children always are asked to go to temples or church, and children just follow that blindly. That is faith. Understanding is the second stage, wherein the people, the adults, actually understand that it is our ask to do so because there's some energy and vibrations that we get in the temples that are required for a smoother functioning and for smoother realization of the Almighty. And thirdly is the realization in which we actually practice to inculcate more and more energy, more and more vibrations through meditations and leading our lives by the three virtues morality, duty, and charity. This is realization. Realization is the ultimate state of the knowledge. Realization is when we are about to merge with it. Next, it is Maharishi also says here that those who have attained such a state of knowledge, that is realization, are the divine masters who are capable of guiding, teaching, and leading the people having faith and understanding. As I said earlier, foundation is important. So faith and realization faith and understanding is important. We cannot attain a realization without faith or understanding. So even if we are in the stages of faith and understanding, the people who have realized about the truth can actually lead us, like Maharishi. We may be in the state of faith or understanding. We may not know. But Maharishi, who has actually realized everything, has helped us and has given us the path to reach the Almighty, merge with us. In terms of faith, religion is something that plays a very important role. And Maharishi gives the next topic as the goal of religion. Maharishi, actually, if we see what actually religion is, in terms of Wikipedia, they say religion is belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power. That is something beyond human power, some natural, supernatural powers that controls the entire universe, and people believe and worship it. So faith in God is from a religion. Faith in God has been something that has been developed and conveyed to a larger audience and helped reach so much people by religion. Religion is just a medium to actually attain the Almighty. There are various practices that a religion follows for us to actually nourish ourselves, actually to make ourselves a better person. There are various rituals that people perform. If we see in almost every religion, there is something that they do called fast. In Muslims have a particular 30-day fast, and Hindus do have a free every week. They have some or the other type of fast that they perform. And Navratri is something that they also do. The Hindus do. Similarly, Christians also have something called for during the Easter period. That is what they do, the fast. So fast is something that they do. Every most religion follows that gives them the actually that strengthens them and gives them the willpower to stay strong regardless of what happens. Even being so hungry, but still we have the willpower not to eat. So that is what this willpower is really important when it comes to reaching the Almighty, merging with the Almighty. Because there are so many hurdles and so many ups and downs that one has to go through in this journey of understanding and realizing the Almighty. So, in the first level of understanding faith, religion has created this path of fasting that actually helps them increase their willpower and make them a much stronger person spiritually. So many other rituals or things that the religion has, the practices that they do, everything has something to do to us emotionally and mentally and spiritually. So all these practices are just to make us much more perfect to reach the Almighty. But what has actually happened now? So with change in time, if we see in earlier times, people would just believe what was said to them. Whatever in terms, if something was said that God will help you if you do this, they will just do it blindly. They don't care about or they don't understand. That was something that early stages of people were. But now, with the advancement in scientific aspects, people's mind have also become more logical, and the people's mind demand physical proof or evidence. There are so many things that have been conflicting in terms of science and religion. Science and religion are always considered to be enemies, science versus religion or religion versus science. But Maharishi here wants to emphasize and say that religion and science go hand in hand, and it should not be science versus religion, it should be science and religion. Here Maharishi says, what was actually the goal of religion? Why was it actually created? For better living and understanding of the 12 principles of life is very important. We all know that. These 12 principles of life are actually the essence of the Vedas. That is, the 12 principles that we just discussed are the uh, foundations of Vedas. They are the essence of Vedas. And they are the core goal of all religions. Maharishi also says human miseries and problems are increasing day by day in our society only because of ignorance of these principles. So, in order to arrive to a conclusion, we can say that all these 12 principles are in present in the in God, in religion, and this is what the religion's actual goal is, to actually understand everything and merge with Almighty. Follow all these 12 principles and merge with Almighty. We see and what has happened with religion in time. The first, as we already discussed, about the changes people demand for proofs. Secondly, religion has become something to be scared of rather than to believe or have faith in. It has become a very important part of people in people's life, that people are started to become scared of or frightened of religion. They say if you don't do this, you go to hell. So they are forced to do. They have become more scared about religion, but they fail to understand the concepts behind that, the reasons behind. Another third thing is the fictional stories that had been written. Fictional stories were initially written for us to understand the concepts, the reasons behind every movement of nature in much better, easier way. And the people who wrote the gurus who wrote those thought that writing fictional stories would be much easier for the people to understand, communicate, and share these concepts easily. But with time, forgotten the concepts. We've left the concepts behind. Now we've taken the stories of Mahabharata, Ramayana, or in Christianity about the birth of Jesus and everything. We've taken it to another level. We started performing it as plays. We started performing it in movies, films, but we fail to understand the concepts. Maybe there are some people who understand, but as a majority we see, most people take it as a story merely as than as a concept to actually reach their mind. So another thing is, if we see, suppose for example, if we want to reach Delhi from Chennai, from Jammu Kashmir, or from Gujarat, there are the distance and the way to go may be different, but at the end, Delhi is the only destination. The same manner, we replace Delhi with Almighty. Almighty is the final destination. It is the destiny. But there are various ways to reach. From Chennai, if you go there, it should be moved in north. But if you go from Gujarat, it should be moved towards the other side. From Jammu Kashmir, it should be moved towards the south. So the directions may change, the ways and paths and time may change, but the destination is the same. So, Almighty also can be achieved through or merged, we can merge our souls with the Almighty through various ways. But at the last, it should be made sure that we actually reach and merge with the Almighty. Conclusion, we can also say religion is actually the faith, it is the first level. But today, people have actually started fighting. No one, this my religion is better than yours. Yours is nothing. Mine is the biggest religion, and so many things. So religion, people have start taking it as their own things. They start owning that, and they start fighting about. People have to understand and realize that it is just the first level. No matter which religion you are, you may be Hindu, you may be Muslim, you may be Christian. If you do your practices properly, if you understand and realize without avoiding unnecessary rituals and actually performing the rituals required, can actually bring all, no matter Hindu, Christian, Julian, or Muslim, they all will eventually reach the online. So it is important for us to understand this, realize this, and move on to the next level rather than just stagnating in the first faith, the level of faith. Maharishi here for us has given all these things very clearly. This is something that we can say is we are blessed because we've gotten Maharishi as our guru. He has given us everything very easy to understand, very crisp, very easy to follow mostly. So it is important for us just to blindly follow what Maharishi is doing. Following that can easily help us understand ourselves, understand the greatness of our Guru, and eventually merge with the Almighty. So with this, By practicing all the exercises, activities, practices given by Maharishi, we can definitely reach the Almighty anytime soon, or practicing this will definitely give us the best results. Thank you also for so patiently listening all this while. I would like to thank all the masters, all the people listening. Thank you so much. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine.